Hello. Oh no. Okay, let's just get started. So, welcome everyone to the Meetup. We meet here every month to show our work, do some live coding. Sometimes we also do some gems in the end, do some improv in live coding of video, audio, music stuff, fun stuff. Yeah, if you're new to live coding here tonight, I heard you are. It's gonna be great because Rick tonight is gonna do part 2 of his Hydra workshop, but I think it also works pretty well as standalone, right? So you can get started with Hydra live coding, which is visuals, and then Rafaele is going to show her instrument. Yeah, it's an instrument. I think you call it. That is also using live coding. That's what we're going to start with. There is a notepad that will be somewhere on one of the screens with a QR code. You can also put some notes if you want to write something down, share a link. We'll also try to put our notes in there so you can check out the things at home as well. And yeah, later we have a little break and we can all talk, ask each other about all the live coding stuff. But yeah, first we'll do the presentations. Enjoy.
Should I stay here because of the camera? No, it's fine.
You can adjust the camera. Just be comfortable.
Everyone see me here. Yeah, right. Cool. And you can see my screen as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I'm Rafaele, and I've been part of this community for 7 years, because I'm in the Netherlands for 8 years. And one of the first things I did in my first month was to join a meetup in Stein that time. And Maraya was there, Sebastian was there, Timo was there, Felipe. And since then the community has changed. Some people left the country, some people got children. But it's always nice to see fresh faces as well. New faces. Fresh. Yeah. Yeah, and it's also nice to see that everyone has their own take to creative coding, you know. That what makes the community very rich. My take was always related to my instrument. So, and that's what I would like to show you today. I will keep on 20 minutes, and then maybe we have questions later. And I have this with me. The instrument is here. Would you like to listen a bit first, or would you like to? Yeah. Okay. Usually that's the case, but I always ask. I've been doing a lot of coding recently, so yeah, you will see me thinking a lot, let's say. But I will improvise a bit so you can listen a bit the sounds and what is possible. But oh, that's nice. You liked. But yeah, I advertised you. My mind is thinking a lot because I programmed a lot of new things, and it feels like I'm doing mathematics and calculating things when I'm playing now. But it will take some time to get used to it. Well, how was this for you? Could you hear like some specific effects that felt familiar, or I mean, mostly I was playing with loops this time, so I guess there was not so many different things. Yeah, there was some reverb things going on as well. Yeah, in the beginning though, I used some delays. There is one sound I like to say, it's called ricochet. Actually, this sound, I made a single with Sebastian 7 years ago. Yeah, and yeah, every little sound has a story with this community. It's really funny. Tim also made one called Lorenz. It's still there. Yeah, there is so many little sounds. Anyway, but let's start in the correct way. I'm Rafaele, and I am from Brazil, actually. But I've been in the Netherlands for about 8 years, and my background is mostly composition and cello. And during my studies, I've always missed a place where I could combine them both. I don't know if you have this experience, but in the conservatory, you are always encouraged to choose one specific path, especially in the classic conservatory. So it makes it a bit hard for you to, choose, sometimes think interdisciplinary. Yeah, and I always felt encouraged to try new sounds, to try different ways to play cello. And it turned out that in my studies, I started to think about building one. And this idea, I brought it through a long time with me since now. And so the version you're seeing now, it's I don't know how many versions I built of this instrument, but at the moment I'm busy doing a new one. This one was from the last year, and it's a special one because, it was often that I built a version and then months later I was building a new one, but this one, it became very stable and I played for like a whole year. I brought it to Brazil with me, to Hong Kong, to Italy. Nothing broke, so that's something to be proud of. Of course, there is always things you improve along the way. That's how it goes. But I think for what I would like to show for you and to discuss about here is something more technical, if you allow me, because I can imagine we are interested about the coding aspect of the instrument. Usually I do presentations, it's mostly more general, but I think it's nice to share this with you today. Let's put this closer. Yeah, so the instrument, as you could see, there is like 16 strings. And the strings are actually capacitive buttons, capacitive sensing. So they are connected to a sensor. And every time I touch them, I can play, I can stop, I can plan sounds, I can set the variables. So I like to say that this instrument has two worlds, the world of design, and that's usually the place where the faders are, and the world of performance, that's usually where the touch of the strings. So usually when I touch one string, I'm either triggering a sound or I'm changing a sound. That's how I designed this instrument to be. What else about Knurl? People are interested about tuning system, and this represents at the moment well, actually, I have something later. Maybe I'll tell this later. But let's say that the strings are 16 and they are all based on cello strings. And later I'll show a bit of the tuning. Maybe is there some questions like that are really burning that someone wants to do? Yes, I can see it.
A little time went back to the performance.
Yeah.
I saw you raise the, I don't know the English word, but the striker.
The bow, the strijstok. Yeah.
And there's a little light in there. Were you sort of triggering some sort of visual thing, or is that just a performative thing to have the light because there's also a light in there?
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So the question from our friends here at V2 is about the bow, because I was using a bow, and the bow I was controlling some of the sounds with the bow. And the bow is, let's say, the most intuitive way to explain how I control sounds on Knurl, but this is only one way. I can assign each sound to be controlled by a pitch tracking, or by the faders, or even by the turning movement of the instruments, by the touch of the strings. There's a lot of different ways, but this is one of them. And what it means that there is a computer here, a microcontroller, a ESP32, and it's sending messages from an accelerometer. Accelerometer is the sensor from, this 3 axis. So if I do this, I place in this position, I send 0, and if I put in this position, then I send 1. This is one axis. This axis is usually the volume for me. So if I point to the audience, is volume max, and if I don't do the opposite, then it's volume 0. And then there is filter, and this is the filtering axis. Yeah, so this is one of the ways. But maybe, is there someone also with other questions? Okay, I'll move on. Yeah, there is a lot of the specificalities, but I'm not sure if you're interested to know that. This instrument uses a Bella. That's a controller very common for people working with sound and microcontrollers. It has low latency, and therefore it's really special for people creating instruments or sound installations. And there is also a OLED screen, so I programmed that everything that happens gives me some code for me there from the instrument. Anyway, very specific, not really necessary. Yeah, so as I was explaining, when I touch the strings, sounds, they happen. And in this case, in the case of Knurl, I call this the modes of performance. That's the way I imagine that to put sounds in category, because I have this belief that some sounds, they have a certain behavior, or they are encouraged to behave in a certain way. For example, recordings or live loopings, you're not going to treat as a modular synthesizer. So I call them, that they have like a specific performance behavior. So on Knurl, I've been programming all these different modes of performance. So the raw mode would be the real sound of the strings. The effect mode is more like this addition to timbre, to tail. Could be like a delay, to explain very simply, but it could also be that you make like a ring modulation from the natural sound. The synth mode is mostly something apart that I can control as like a synthesis, but I can also somehow make it mixed with the sound, the natural sounds of the instrument. The other ones are a bit more, it's more understanding to if you see. So event mode, short sounds, recording mode is about the live loopings and the pattern. It's actually something more, it's kind of new. It's what I'm getting close to what could be live coding on these instruments, or like really working with sound patterns. Yeah, and your question comes in very handy here because people ask, okay, but how do you play the sounds? Again, there is strings that are sensor based. Usually are the strings on the edge, the highest one and the lowest, and I can map them according to to what I would like to play, which kind of mode. And some people ask me, how can you see the difference on the strings? There is some, in the bridge here, there is a little circle. And that's how I can see which strings am I playing. So these ones are with two circles. You can see there in the screen. There's 3 circles. One, actually, this one should be empty. Sorry, 1 circle empty, and that's how I find myself inside of this instrument. At this moment, I designed all the sounds inside of this instrument, but I can mostly play around 5, but it depends, because some sounds, they require a lot of CPU, and the computer is quite small. So I'm always dealing with this challenge on Knurl, because it's not like a computer, and I'm jealous of you guys if you do live coding, because you really can manipulate sounds, and it doesn't matter how much CPU, because most computers nowadays can handle. But with the instrument, you realize you have the problem of latency, and you have the problem of CPU. That is something, that's something that can happen very often. So, but yeah, it's really nice to have all these possibilities of sounds, and to try different combinations, different ways to control them. And your question about the bow, now you see here there is other ways to control the sound. So I can also control the sound with fader. I can control them with the bow, the turn, movement, and the go. That's something also new that I've been programming. I can try to show. I actually didn't finish the phrase, sorry. But it's basically the go. The go should be, it's about like defining a specific pattern for you to aim for every time you are playing. So for example, if I'm thinking on C major, the go is the pattern of C major, let's say, and the way I touch the string will allow me to work with a C major pattern or something like this. Very weird, but anyway. Yeah, I could show some codes now. Maybe that's something cool. Yeah? Because I think we still have time, right?
Yeah.
I stopped my clock, so I don't know.
Take your time. There's no hurry to. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe also one question.
Yeah.
You said there's a lot of latency sometimes with GNU.
Uh-huh.
GNU. Do you incorporate this in your presentation or show, or how do you deal with it when you present or show?
I think the right way to deal is to practice and to test everything is possible. Because in the show you don't want to have these problems. But if that happens, I tend to stay calm and I just turn on and turn off again, because there's nothing I can do. I see sometimes it just takes time for the instrument to adapt, because I'm still sometimes able to stop everything. This time, for example, I was not. So as a backup, I always have the computer around, so I can. What you see now, by the way, is that I am connected wireless to the instrument and to the Bella platform. So that's what am I going to show to you now. Yeah, so this is another way that the computer is around, and I just say here, build and run, and then it resets. But soon you will see here, like the CPU will already get 30%. So it's quite a lot from, I mean, it's not playing anything, basically. Can you put us on the SIP? Sebastian, can you? Yeah, so the Bella platform works, it's very simple. Like you have all these folders, you can make your own projects, there's ideas. In my case, I have this project from March 9th, quite almost the Women's Day. And I have a bunch of files. This is the main one, so you can see that I load all these files when I start. Maybe it's also nice to show the settings a bit. The settings are, you can see the block size is always for me something important to check. It tells me a lot about latency. Is there some specific things you like to see on the code of Knurl that you think like, how was she thinking? In which way was she thinking to build this instrument? The which one?
Work in progress, like recording patterns and replaying them stuff. Maybe.
Yeah. So the live looping, you mean the?
Yeah.
Yeah. So who just to know, like, how many people here read Super Collider? 2. Okay. Then I will go slowly. Yeah, that's fine. I just need to use a accessible language, let's say. So Super Collider is a language between C++ and something else. It's mostly designed for musicians to get into this coding world. It's downloadable, open source. And what we're going to see now here is definitions of a synthesizer. That's what we call synth-def. On Knurl, I have all these synth-defs that I show. Like here, I show just names, right? But actually, all of them here are synth-defs. And on the recording category, or the recording mode, let's say, I have 3 different ways at the moment to work with recordings. So maybe I'll show you playing. So the first one I can show, I will show again with the bow. So the first one I can show is this first 2 synths here. It's the recording A and recording C. Why recording A? I should have written recording in and recording sound in. Because it means like if I touch this string, this synth-def recording A, which is actually recording the natural sound of the strings, will start to record. But if I touch this one, that's the other synth, that is actually about the input. There is a difference there because sometimes I don't want the string sounds. So this is the string sound, but I can mute completely the strings. And I can use, for example, in your home and I will dedicate this sound to you, Timo, now. This is the sound you created for Knurl. Wait a sec. Should be. Yeah, so in this case, I'm playing a synth. And if I choose to record the input, I will be recording only the synth sound, for example. So just to make clear, I will record now this sound. Yeah, so. Oh, damn it, I touched it. Yeah, it's not gonna work because now I accidentally touched the wrong string. But now you will hear the sound of the string recorded. Yeah, but that was not my intention. My intention was the opposite. But anyway, that's something I can do. So I can record, I can sample the recordings by controlling with the bow. Or for example, I don't want to control with the bow. I want to control with the turning movement of the instrument. Then I will go here, turn. In the console, you cannot see these movements. Here we go. And if I... Yeah, there's some bugs going on. It might be because some parts of the recording were in silence. And yeah, this is one way, but I can also work with a loop pedal. Do you guys, the Super Collider people, did you ever saw the Ellie Field still on YouTube? Yeah, he's a genius of Super Collider, and he has a YouTube video about creating a looping pedal on Super Collider. To clarify, there is a challenge, or when working with shut up. When working with live loopings on creative coding or in Super Collider specifically, because in music, when you are working with loopings, you always want to start and stop in a specific place. The thing is, when you work in this world of Super Collider, the buffer needs to be determined, the amount, the duration. So this guy made a genius patch where he can really stop and start at any time he wants. And on Knurl, I made this patch able. So I will show a little bit now. And maybe that's all I'm gonna show, because otherwise we're gonna be the whole day here. Yeah, so if I touch the A string now, I will start recording. I should start. Let's see. Let's see what's gonna happen. And if I touch the C string, then it will stop. So now no touching. Still figuring it out about the amount. Yeah, because sometimes you see it's not stopping everything. So you see, I'm in the middle of a new version. There is a lot of debugging moments. I need to figure it out. Yeah, so this is another one, and other things I'm now exploring is the ability to freeze sometimes recordings or to change the rates. I think the world of live looping, as the world of reverbs or delays, there is so many things to discover, you know, and there is so many things. So it's nice to dig into it, because in this challenge you find something very unique sounds. Anyway, that's a little bit of the world of programming. Do you guys have any questions about this part? Yes.
So this is, I'm also on the speaker. Okay. Thank you for your presentation, very nice. Of course, I know the instrument for a long time, but still, I was curious. For all the synths that you're designing now, when you start working on one, do you already have an idea of like this is what it's going to be, or do you just randomly look on what other people are doing and get ideas from that, or how do you decide on I want to make this? I don't know. Hum synth. I saw the name pass
That's
by,
a really
for example.
cool question.
Where does this come from?
What I feel now I'm in therapy somehow.
That was not my intention.
No, I feel like when I think maybe some of you will recognize that when we find a sound very nice or cool, it usually has a specific parameters. They are fixed. You know, you you listen them and they are fixed there, but of course you want to play with them. So you find variables. And that's the moment where you start to realize, then it's not cool anymore. That often happens with me, that I have an idea of sound or I find a sound, and then I want to implement on Knurl to play out with the variables of the sound, for example. And then I have these moments where I like, that's not the same, or yeah, it has to be adjusted to a specific range. So I sense that throughout this experience of finding out what is really what the sound you want and how do you want to play with it, you really definitely learn how to I wanted to say something and I missed. It came in my mind and left.
Just a little glitchy.
Yeah. That sound design is that often it's not about the sound itself, but it's about how you use it. And that's what I think it's really cool to realize, that when you are designing a sound or learning how to manipulate, it's not so much about what is really is the sound, what is the, like, is if it's a triangular wave or it's a sinoid. Everything can be cool. It's all about like how you use it. And that's what I find unique, and that's what shapes me to develop on Knurl. So just summarizing an answer, there are moments where when there is the start of sound development, where you are trying to find the range of what is really, what can be the sound about. But there is always a moment of, there will be always a question of wonder of how the sound should behave, or let's say. Was this a good answer?
I think so.
Okay. Good. One more question maybe, and then we can move to the other. Yes?
I am working with buffers and looping them and having one write pointer and multiple read pointers.
Oh, look at that.
I do that a lot.
Yeah.
And so I wonder how many buffers are in there, and how do you select them? Or
I'll show you. I usually work with lists. So I will show you my lists. And I have my lists here. You can see it very well, right? Okay. Yeah, so I have this list here where I say the amount of numbers, but in this case, with buffers, I have these items here, buffer list 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Recently, because this thing about the pedal and the freeze is quite new, so I have some specific buffers for this sort of sounds. So the long pedal, for example, you see that here for you guys that maybe are not so familiar with Super Collider, we multiply by 4 or by 20 to say put more 20 seconds in this buffer, in this recording. Imagine the buffer is like a place, an empty space in the computer that is waiting you for you to place something inside, like a drawer. And we just say like, okay, let this buffer please be 20 seconds, for example. So maybe this answers your question. Like for now, I think I have something weird here, like 8, 9 buffers. But yeah, from what I hear is that working with buffers is very less. It's very efficient.
it's cheap.
Yeah, it's very cheap, and I see people also using to make reverbs and delays, which is a very good solution when you're talking efficiency. I think if you get into this world of buffer, you save a lot of trouble for a long-term future. That was not my case. Now I've been learning about it, and I see how valuable it is for the architecture in Super Collider, let's say. Anyway, nerdy enough, right? Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, one last thing. If you want to know, like the instrument itself, it's a tool, right? So what do you do with that is another thing. I just want to show, if you are curious to see this in practice, I have a bunch of different projects. From theater to interactive performances. I was playing with Timo 3 weeks ago in a live coding performance. I've been doing a quartet of Knurls. I did a tour, a music tour in Brazil. So it's really nice to see how much this interdisciplinary works or projects can fit in so many different ways. Yeah, and I'm doing a crowdfunding about making a new version of Knurl. So if you have any chance to support or share with people that you know that would be interested to buy a Knurl or buy some other rewards, that's what's happening right now on my to-do list. Thank you so much. Oh yeah. I will do that. Okay. Break.
Break. Hello? Yeah, we're gonna continue. Yes, get your laptops. That's a good thing. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I put 1 second. Ah, yeah. You can scan the QR code there in the right corner below, underneath. And if you go there, you go to Hydra OJEC. The link is also in the show notes of YouTube. So if somebody is watching at home or somewhere else, it can also enter Hydra via the link, or also via HackMD. So that's also possible. Yeah, so then you come at the same sketch which I have now, and from there you can do whatever you want, and then you start using the Hydra synth. Okay, I will tell something really short. So I'm Rick Mertens, a media artist from Rotterdam, also one of the initiators of this live coding meetup. Today is the second workshop, but I go through some stuff. So from the first workshop, so a little recap, because yeah, it's nice to see some of the last part. If you want to see more of this, you can check out the YouTube channel of Eerie Ear, and then you can see that workshop. So okay, so now a quick recap. Last time we talked about what Hydra is. It's a video synth. Here you can also see a short guide to quickly start. We see underneath here it's made by Olivia OJEC. If you push this link, then you come at their website. It's a nice website. This here are some resources, so you can do some deep dive or self-study into Hydra. I'm gonna open this one quickly because we're gonna use that later on. Okay, then I go to the Hydra machine. Last time we said we spoke about this. This play button renders your whole code. So this is the code which is playing. So probably nothing will change because it's the same. Yeah, you can with this dices you can change some stuff. For example, now it changed. It's also already. Wait, is it changing? I think no, not yet. We can switch here. This with the arrows, you switch in sketches, which are uploaded, and examples. With the dices again, now you see some changes. So the sketch changes. You see. Yeah. Yes, now we see changes. Yes. So. And with this button, you can throw it all away. Maybe that's nice for you to do now, so you can start with a clean slate later on. This one is for extensions, and here you can upload your sketch. If you're happy with your sketch, you can upload it to Twitter. I was wrong last time. It's not to the library from Hydra, but to Twitter. So I corrected that. Yes. Okay. I get quickly this code. 1 sec. Yeah. No. Yes. Okay. So also what I spoke about is some shortcuts. This one is Control Shift Enter. That's the same as the play button here. I'll show you. doesn't show anything, but you see the whole code lights up. So that means it just renders the whole code. Option or Alt Enter just runs one block. You see this only this block is being light up. Then you have Control Enter. Control Enter does only run one line, and then you have Control Shift H. You always have to be really careful with this one, because if you do Control H, then the browser shuts off, so that's a bit shitty. But with Control Shift H, the code disappears. For example, when you have a nice code and or a nice sketch, and you just want to show off a bit without the code, then you have Control backslash that disables the selected line. So you see here, this is disabled, this is enabled. And then you have hash, for example, this, Jesus. So you have this code which is running, and if you do hash, let's see if it works like this. No, wait. Just hash, then it stops the code. Yeah, that's just a bit of recap of the shortcuts. Then we have functions, which is this part is also a recap of the last workshop. These are our sources, so you can see this red, the red functions are sources. We spoke about this last time. Today we're gonna speak about the geometry. And this geometry are functions which adjust the sources. So we always need a source, but I will explain that later. So now we go through the sources. Just quick, this is noise, this is Voronoi, and this is oscillator, this is a shape, this is a gradient, and for source you first need to load a source. So I just do like the Hydra image of Wikipedia. So this is what you get if you search for Hydra on Wikipedia. Okay. So now today we're gonna do the other functions, the geometry functions. This is every time on the second line of a block. Normally I would use noise because you never can have enough noise in your life. But for this to be a bit more easier to understand, I use shape and maybe later one image. Just to see what the functions do. So okay, let's see. Yes. So yes, we use shape. Wait, almost. We use shape. So I use shape here. It's 3 sides, so it makes triangle. A triangle. So yes, and this we're gonna manipulate. Today we're speaking this first function. I mean, is rotate. So speed I remove for 1 sec because I noticed that this is not completely working then. So first we see angle. Angle is how much you gonna rotate the shape. So you see here it turned a bit with 0 to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So this turns the shape. With speed, normally I can write it down like this, but for some reason it's not working. So the speed you can do, for example, 1, and then the shape starts rotating on its own. If you do -1, it goes the other way. So 1 is clockwise and -1 is counterclockwise. And then, yeah, of course, you can also do like really slowly or on turbo. It's a nice sound effect as well. You hear it? Yeah, for me, nice. Huh? That did it, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe for the beginners, it's good to know that you don't need to type all the
Yeah. So this the words, you don't have to type it. You can also just use 0 of a 3, like here. The value, yeah. So you can also just put in numbers, and most of the time it's floating numbers. So point, like a 1.0 is like a floating number. Yeah, so that you can do. And if you use the words, then you really need to do also put in the what's this, the sign? What's it called? Equal sign. Thank you. So yeah, that's good. Thank you for the comment. And then we go, so we see this speed, you can do like different things. So I already told you 50 makes some nice forms as well. So okay, then we go to scale. Scale is, yeah, you can scale your image. You can make it bigger or smaller. Now it's 1.5, so the first the amount parameter is scaling it like completely, the whole image. So for example, if I put in 3, it makes it bigger. If I make it 0.1, it makes it really small. Then we just do it on 1, and you can also scale only the the x-axis. For example, now as you see here at the x-mult and y-mult is the same, but if you, for example, change this around, then the form gets stretched in the x-axis. With this one, you can do the y-axis. So you see here, then it squeezes it, and then we have this offset x and offset y, but let's see what it does. I think I was trying this out and it didn't really work that well. So now it's still working. This one is still working. So you see offset x, it's going to the left. For example, with 2, it goes more to the left, 0.2. Now it goes more to the right, and if you probably be at 0.1, it goes further right. Can we get it out? Not yet, no. So you can move it on the x-axis with the x-axis with the offset x. With the y-axis is this one. So for example, 0.9, you lower the image. If you do 1.9, it's gone. Well, let's see where we can get it back. Yes, it's somewhere in this room. No, this is not working. Let's see, -0.2. Yeah. So it's from 0 to 1, probably about. But this you can experiment at home. So this is a bit lower. 5 is again lower, and then we have 0.8, really low, and let's see, 1.1. Yeah, it's gone. If it's 1, yeah, then it's still there. So there, with this function, you can position your image. Okay, let's go to pixelate. Again, we have this shape, and we're gonna pixelate the shape. Maybe one thing with the scale, if you do, for example, let's go back to the scale, and if you only do one parameter, it just takes the the whole image, like the first one. Let's see, 0. So you see. Yeah, and then you can fill up, of course, and with the next one, and then, yeah, I explained the rest of it. So we go to pixelate. We use this shape of the triangle again, and now we tell Hydra to pixelate, use 20 pixels for the x-axis and 20 pixels for the y-axis. If you change this, for example, you will see what it does here. Not yet. Okay, let's see, which is maybe 1000. It's easy. Yeah, not yet. Oh, yeah, I understand already. Let's see. We can do the y-axis maybe better. That will also not do it too much. Wait, then we have to use another image, not the shape, but the image. Okay, let's see. Thank you. Yeah, so now you see the image has 20 pixels in the x-axis and 10 pixels in the y-axis. For example, if we do this a bit bigger, it gets more defined. The image gets more defined, and if you will see this better when I also do the x-axis. Then you have this shape again. But if we do, for example, 10-10, you just use 10 pixels in the y-axis and 10 pixels in the x-axis to show the image. Yeah, of course, you don't really see too much anymore. So, okay, that's pixelate. And I think if you do only 10, then it's like the whole image is uniformly 10 pixels in the y-axis and 10 in the x-axis. Yes. So now we go into the function repeat. Can everybody follow me a bit? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you. So we go back to the shape, the triangle, which we're gonna repeat. So what you see now here, I can see it as well. Here is 3, and here is also saying 3. That means that we repeat this image 3 times in the y-axis and 3 times in the x-axis. If we change this, for example, to 1, we get 1 image or 1 shape in the x-axis and 3 still in the y-axis. And probably this one is not working, but we will see if I'm right. No, it's still working. So now you see that let me see. Yeah, so the image, the middle image is moved a bit to the right or the left on the x-axis. You can maybe see it better with 4 repetitions in the y-axis. Then you see that 1 is moved, like it has an offset, and then the other one is in the middle, and then the next one is offset, and then another one is in the middle. And also this is happening in the y-axis. So you see that it moved here. So yeah, and that's you can experiment with yourself if you want. So then we have the repeat x, and that's actually the same as the one before, but then only the x-axis, and then this one is the y-axis, is only the y-axis. So you can also use this to one after the other. With this one, you can be a bit faster. So okay. Let's see. Yes, then we have kaleidoscope. the collide is with this gives you how many sides it is. You see here in the middle the image is multiplied, and then it multiplied, and you see so four sides here. If you make it, for example, 5, then you see 5 times the image. But you can also, for example, do it with 100, and then you get like a different form. But it's the whole, still, it's this image which we already saw here, this Hydra image. So again, if you make it collide, yes, without my collide, then you see from the middle it makes another form. Okay, let's see, for example 10, then you see a bit of this image in the corner here and here on the left. Yeah, so okay, you can experiment with it also. A float? Okay. So some nice advice from the left here. We can also make it a float. What does it do? Okay, so without. Yeah. So it's irregular. Yeah, it makes the sides from different. It's the differences in the how big it is. No. Yeah. Or yeah. Okay.
Instead of getting exactly mirrored, it's a little bit shifted.
Yeah, it's shifted. Not exactly mirrored. That's good. Okay, so because this is exactly mirrored. Okay, then we have scroll. Sorry, scroll is. Why is this not working? Oh yeah, so this one is not working. This one, I found it. So now you see, we have the shape again, and this is scroll to X and I. The offset, what we already saw in the previous thing with the repetition of a bit to repeat I and repeat X, you can offset it, and this is the same actually. So if I do 1.5, it makes it. Wait 1 second. So. Why it doesn't do anything? Let's see. 1. Okay. 1. So this is in the middle. If we do 1.5, it changes. I understand, yeah. It's probably from 0 until 1. So you can do float, and then it moves around in the screen. So 5, it is on another place, and 2, so you can see the image moving. And if you, so which one we did just here. So if you have the image half on the left, then it goes to the other part and comes back again, of course. We also can do this with in the y-axis, for example, 0.5. Then you see it also, it's a bit out of the screen and comes back here in the screen. 0.9, it's inside the screen still, so maybe put this one, the x-axis, on 1. So you see it completely, and then here you have 0.1 or 0.01, then it moves. So with scroll you can move it. Then we can also move it constantly. So this is which you saw before. It was actually, what was it called? It was called speed. Yeah. This is in the x-axis, and in the last parameter you can scroll also in the y-axis. So you see here 0.1. Now it has like a diagonal. You can also say 0 for the x-axis, and then it moves from bottom in the y-axis from bottom and then to the top. If you do it with minus, I hope it changes the other way around. Yes, and it does. Okay, Yes, so then this another one is scroll X is actually a part of the previous function, only for the X-axis, and then we also have the Y-axis, and that's the like what we already saw before. So here, if there's no comma, then you have no movement, and if you do some number, then it moves. Okay, so that's this part of the functions, the yellow functions. Next time I will explain the color. And now you all are like advanced Hydra people, because we have like workshop 2. Later on we have a jam, so we invite you to also take part of the jam and try out what you learned. Yeah, good. Yeah, so maybe some questions.
Maybe one thing.
Wait,
One thing quickly. The export is changed and is no longer going to Twitter. It's now going to Mastodon. So just to clarify that.
Still, next time I'm gonna recap and correct my mistakes again. Mastodon. Yeah. Okay, Twitter is called X. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, but that were more remarks. I said questions.
Do you have a favorite modulator?
So yes. Do I have a favorite modulator? You mean a function, or yeah? Actually, modulate, because it does like a lot with the image. So I can show maybe for 1 sec. Also like noise a lot, of course, what I already told you. So let's see. We have this image. Let's first do the image. This image, and then you have dot modulate, and then you can do noise, modulated with the noise function. And then most of the time you do something small, because then it's then you see a bit more, because or else it's gonna be just scales, which is of course also good, but sometimes it's nice if you can control it a bit. Now we see here the image is modulated with noise, but let's see if we make it a bit more chaotic or something quicker. Let's see, or let's do oscillate maybe. Oscillate. It also depends on the image actually, which function is nicer. So for example, now we modulate it with oscillator. I show the oscillator just like this. The oscillator is this, and we had this. This image, and now we combine these two. You see, always some nice warnings, and then now you see actually that the oscillator moves through the image, if I can say it like that. You can speed it up. Let's see, 20. Yeah, so and this works. It's actually nice, because this is what a Hydra does. It moves really quickly. So that's the modulate is, I think, a nice function, and then you need to also use another function, of course, but that's one of the functions I really like. Another question?
Yes. All the places where you write a number, can you replace the number with just any JavaScript function that returns a number? Like that you modulate the numbers that modulate the modulator or something? something like that.
So,
Is that possible?
wait one sec. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. So I see you typing a lot of numbers, and I think this is in JavaScript, right? So is it possible that you could replace a number with a JavaScript function that returns a number, but that changes over time?
So I heard yes. I'm not so in depth, so I will give the mic to somebody else for this.
Hey, Wouter, Wouter.
Okay, yes, there were like 2 or 3 people who were nodding, so I'll give him the first one who was nodding.
Nice fake out right there. Yeah, it's actually JavaScript, and yeah, you can do that. But you just have to use arrow functions to make sure that you're always in the same code scope. And then you can also declare vars and put those in there. So, yeah, functions, woo. It's all we have in JavaScript, actually. Thanks for a great question.
Some easy questions then? No? No, no, no. Okay, that was the workshop. So remember what I told you. Join the jam later on. Okay.
Thank you. hello. Okay. Yeah, let's go here. So. Yeah. So very quickly, just is a bit more advanced, but yeah, we continue. This is really briefly. I wanted to show. Oh yeah. So very briefly, I'm going to show one extra, very small presentation on Hydra. And it's that I've been using Hydra for some time, but I've not used these extensions so much. So there are a number of extensions that you can use to do interesting stuff. I tried a bunch, but I wanted to focus on one of them, which is this GIF library from Geika. It's a live coder from Buenos Aires. Pretty cool guy, and he did. You can see he wrote quite a few of these extensions. There's a basic library that you can import. When you go to this libraries menu, I'll open it again so you can find it here on the top right. Right here. You can see an icon with like a plus, so you can actually just immediately add the load script to whatever you're doing. Or you can go to the documentation, so in this case is the GitHub of the library itself. Or you can check an example. So he has an example here with a very nice GIF. So I was playing around with this thing recently, and that was kind of part of the promotion that we used for the event today. So what I did is I usually just picking up on what Rick was talking about. So you can have like a solid color in Hydra, right? So this also takes values. Not apparently not. What's going on? There we go. So you can have like solid colors. I think if I do just one here, that should also work. Yeah. So when the value is 0, this case gives you black. In this case, kind of a black canvas. In this script, I'm loading Geika's script for GIFs. And then this allows you to really quite easily paste from Giphy, for example, the link to a GIF, and then as a source. So you can have like you can add custom sources. So again, this is a bit more advanced. So in this case, I'm loading 4 sources: S0, S2, S3, S0, S1, S2, and S3. And so you can see them here. I have like a solid canvas. And then when I add source 0, I think I need to, let's do this bit. Okay, and now source 0, come to me. Okay, nothing works. Why? Okay. This is odd. Come on. Strange. I swear that I tested this before, guys. So what if I run everything? I also don't get the GIFs. Okay, maybe I need to let's refresh Hydra and see if this works now. Oh, this is odd. Okay, let me do something. Let's go here to the one that was actually working and see if we can make this work over there. So go to the example. Here. Come. Okay, my Hydra somehow crashed. Do this again. Okay, now it's working. So let's paste this whole thing here. See if this works now. So if I replace you, now we get we get a new we get a new one, and this is going to be now my source 1, source 2, and source 3. So now in theory, this thing that I did here should work. So now you see, like, I have my solid canvas. When I add nothing to it, it's just a black screen. And I can add these different GIFs that I loaded as sources. So let's remove this Spider-Man. So you can see now these two are working. And now I can use different blending options to make them interact. So one thing I did, for example, when you have like this source 0, let's remove this. So we have this source 0, for example, it comes with this text and so on. So maybe you don't want that text on your screen when you're working with it. So in Hydra, we were talking just earlier, this is JavaScript. So you can kind of make your own function quickly, which I'm doing here with like creating this dog function. Making a solid canvas and then adding the source, scaling it a bit. Let's skip this for now. And then I give it a frame. I have this multiply. Remember, we saw this with Rick. There's like a shape, like a 4 size shape with like 0.88. So now this doesn't work because there's nothing added to this our solid canvas that's going to the output. But if I add this dog thing that I created, and I do the right shortcut, see, so now we can have the dog without the text, opposite to this thing with the text. So that's kind of a way to work with that. And then, of course, you can do other crazy stuff here, like add, in this case, well, you see what it is. It's an oscillator with a kaleidoscope. So let me see if I can type, which is not guaranteed, of course. So this is the oscillator. Now you see the third parameter is color. So if we do 0 here, this is the kind of oscillator that we were that Rick was showing. When I add a value, this is usually normalized. So when I push it to 8, it also gets saturated. And now I deleted this, so it had a kaleidoscope here. I think the value was 40, but basically just to make it a circle, and there we go. Yeah, so now it's a circle that kind of works nicely with this dog, and it has kind of another kaleidoscope, kind of doing subtracting synthesis to it. So okay, anyways, this is really quickly kind of a way to use to quickly import. Let's remove this. Quickly import GIFs into a sketch and do stuff with it. And then I did here, if this works, like a little bit more of a complex thing with these sources, but I'm not sure if it's picking up. And you see that this takes a little bit longer to go to memory, load in memory, and do something with it. It will come back. Here it is. So, well, you get an idea. So this is like kind of like a bit of a more complex thing, but also kind of like I thought kind of a funny library that helps you quickly load GIFs using a simple URL. So this was it for this very short presentation. If there are any questions, and otherwise we move on with yeah.
Really nice extension and nice presentation. Thank you. Can you go up a bit to the this await load script? This is just the extension, no?
Yeah, that's the extension, and that's the extension, and here's the GitHub where you can get a little bit more in detail what the extension is actually doing, which is basically prepending Hydra to load this GIF, this location of this GIF as and initialize as a source.
Okay, thank you. And I also have one question more. Can you maybe just load one GIF, not this complex sketch? Maybe with the add, because that's my question is about the add, just the add. Yeah, yeah. So you see here straight away, it already has like a kind of a blending mode. Is it because of the GIF is with transparent, or how does this work?
No, the GIF is not transparent. The GIF comes with a background, with whatever background that is. So if you see like this particular GIF comes with a black background. But if I load this Spider-Man, oh, that's not the one. This one, this comes with, see, like this cartoon canvas with like multiple background color, or like a texture background. So, but you could use a different blending mode, like layer, and then source. Let me now I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just adding this guy. But let's say with the dog, for example, I can use a different blending mode, like layer, and then when I say S0, we're gonna get basically the same. But then with layer, I can use Luma. This also works with Molt, I think. And then with the Luma function, then it does become like it basically makes the black a transparent background. So that kind of works as maybe it will. This makes more sense. You can also, maybe this was not mentioned before, you can control or command shift and H and hide the code, and if you go F11 the magic happens. Yeah, so but this clarifies, or
can you do like so can you just do like the first add and the second add? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Sorry, these are the same. So these are first two.
Yeah. So, but now you see, you don't put any Luma or layer or something, and still it's transparent. How does it work?
That's because the background is black. So it when you are adding is additive synthesis. When the background is black, it's the 0. So you're adding 0. So, but if you use blend, for example, then it should kind of change a little bit the color here. Sorry, this is the other way around. So this should be blend. So then, see now it doesn't look that much, but yeah, basically with a black background, it's not a great example. Maybe with this makes it easier to see. If I do blend, see, it gets a little bit darker now. And if I do the layer and the Luma function, now you see the difference. And you see that only the more highlight values get passed through. Yeah, this good. Yeah. Anyone else? No? Okay. Great, let's jump then. Take like a 5-minute or so, like a very short break, and we set it up. I think we start with Timo and someone else. Okay, thank you. Shall we do flock like last time, and then we do like a collective visuals, or one-on-one? What's the? Okay, cool. So, okay, let's go to the break.
Which is nice. Oh, it's fun, yeah. Like switch it up and maybe a bit.
We also, with your hand. Okay, so now 9 minutes individuals. We did it was longer, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a very chaotic visual system.
Yeah.
Many people at once.
Close mic with phantom power. Close mic with the phantom power. Close mic with.
One.